Welcome to Air Force Officer Qualifying Test Prep online lesson series. In this lesson, we'll go over mathematical knowledge. Before you start, make sure that you have a notebook and pen ready so you could write some very important information from the video and also write some tips and tricks that will help you to prepare for the AFOQT test. In this lesson, we'll go over 12 mathematical knowledge problems. Each problem with a different concept. So make sure that when I read the question, pause the video and try to do by yourself and then see how I do. After that, download this application called AFOQT Tutoring app from App Store or Google Play. It has plenty of practice problem. It has also AFOQT prediction test that will help you to determine if you take the actual test or not. We have also offer one-on-one tutoring services. If you really need to improve your score, you could request a tutor. We continuously get update our material based on the student feedback. So let's get started. Problem number 1, if 12p plus 4 equal to 130 minus 3q and q equal to 2p, what is the value of p? So in order to solve this problem, the first what you have to do, you have to replace this q with 2p. Let's do that. So that gives you 12p plus 4 equal to 130 minus 3 times 2p. So that gives you, if you simplify, 12p plus 4 equal to 130 minus 3 times 2 is 6p. So what you have to do next, add both sides by 6p. Right here 6p. Make sure that you put variable with variables, cancel out, so that gives you 18p plus 4 equal to 130. So what you have to do next, subtract both sides by 4, cancel, so that gives you 18p equal to 126 and divide both sides by 18. That gives you p equal to 7. So that is the correct answer. Problem number 2, what is the midpoint of the line segment joining 6, 5 and negative 12, negative 9? So in order to solve this problem, you need to learn first how to find the midpoint. So let's do that. So say you have a line here is x1, y1, x2, y2. If you want to find the midpoint, say the midpoint is x and y. So in order to find this x and y, you need to write a formula called x equal x1 plus x2 over 2, and then y will be y1 plus y2 over 2. Just plug this value in here. You could write anything is x1, y1, x2, y2, it doesn't matter. So let's mark it x1, y1 here, and then x2, y2 there. So if you plug that value, you get 6 minus 12 over 2, and this side y equal to, you get 5 minus 9 over 2. So that gives you 6 minus 12 is negative 6 divided by 2 gives you negative 3 here, and then y gives you negative 2. So that is the final answer, negative 3, negative 2. Problem number 3, factorize this 7x cubed plus 35x squared plus 28x. So in order to factorize this expression, the first what you have to do, you have to find the common term in all these three terms, right? So let's see what is the common here and there, and here is 7x. So take this common out, and if you do that, that gives you x squared plus 5x plus 4. So how you could do that, if you take this 7x and divide it each of the term, and you will get this. So now you have to factorize inside of the parenthesis. So let's do that. 7x, let's keep outside separate. So you need to use the middle factoring. So let's split that 5 into 2 part. Let's do it. Gives you x squared plus 4x plus x plus 4, right? So 7x keep in here, and then take x common here. If you take x common, that gives you x plus 4, if you take one common, you get x plus 4, right? So that gives you 7x times x plus 4 times x plus 1. So that is the answer option. Problem number 4, solve the equation 3x minus 5y equal to 9, 2x plus 3y equal to 6. This is a system of linear equation. That means it has two unknown, that means two variable and two unknown, right? So in order to solve this problem, what you have to do, you have to eliminate one of the variables. So in order to do that, what you have to do, you have to multiply first equation by 3 and second equation by 5, and then you could eliminate that. That gives you 3 times 3 is 9x minus 3 times 5 is 15y equal to 3 times 9 is 27. The second equation gives you 5 times 2 is 10x plus 15y equal to 5 times 6 is 30. So now you could, if you combine them, so y cancel out, right? So that gives you 19x equal to 7 here, this is 57. Now if you divided both sides by 19, the 19 cancel out, that gives you x equal to 3. Now if you plug this 3 with any of this equation, then you could find easily the y. So let's do that. Let's do plug the x into second equation. So that gives you 2 times 3 plus 3y equal to 6. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus 3y equal to 6. Subtract both sides by 6. So that gives you 3y equal to 0, and then y equal to 0. So that is the final answer. X equal to 3, y equal to 0. Problem number 5, simplify 6 parenthesis x square y cube to the power third power divided by 4x6 y5. So in order to solve that, you have to simplify top and bottom first. So let's do that. So 6 here, if we apply this cube with each term in here, that gives you 3 times 2 is x to the power 6, and then 3 times 3 is 9, y to the power 9, and the bottom you have 4x6 y5, right? So now what you have to do, you have to divide it. So if we divide it by 2 both sides, that gives you 3 over 2, and then now in here, so x6 cancel out, and then y9 minus y5, that gives you y to the power fourth power. So that is the answer. Problem number 6, square root over 16 p4 over p6. So in order to solve this, you have to simplify inside the square root first. So if you do that, that gives you 16 on the top, in the bottom p6 minus p4, that gives you p second power. Okay, so if you simplify individually, that gives you square root over 16 is 4, and then square root over p4 p2 equal to p. So that is the correct answer. Problem number 7, if a plus b square equal to 12 and ab equal to 8, then what is a square plus b square? So in order to solve this problem, what you have to do, you have to expand that a plus b square, and then you have to simplify that. So let's do that. If you want to expand that, that gives you a plus b times a plus b equal to 12, right? So if you multiply that, that gives you a square. So this with that, this with that, this you could do it, make it easier. A square plus ab, and then here a plus b is another ab plus b square equal to 12, right? And if you simplify, that gives you a square plus b square plus 2ab equal to 12. So if you plug the value in here, ab, which is 8, so let's see what you get. A square plus b square plus 2 times 8 equal to 12. a square plus b square um, plus 8 times 2 is 16 equal to 12. So if you subtract both sides by 16, that gives you a square plus b square equal to negative 4. So that is the answer. Problem number 8, which expression is equivalent to 2x plus 2 times x minus 5 times 3x minus 1. So in order to simplify that, so you have to multiply two factor first and then do the last. So let's do this way. So 2x plus 2, just keep that separate first and multiply that one, the one we did like last problem. So that gives you x times 3x equal to 3x square minus x times 1 is negative x, 5 times 3 is negative 15, and that gives you plus 5, right? So if you simplify that, that gives you 2x plus 2 times 3x square minus 16x plus 5, right? Now you have to do the exactly same thing again. That gives you 2x times 3x square, that gives you 6x cube minus 16 times 2 is 32 x square, and then that gives you a 5 times 2 is 10x. Same way with the 2 multiply with every single term on the second factor, so that gives you 2 times 3, that gives you 6x square minus 16 times 2 is 32x plus 5 times 2 is 10. So if you simplify, that gives you 6x cube, combine the like terms, that gives you minus 26x square minus 22x plus 10. So that is the final answer. Problem number 9, what is the value of x in the following equation? If you want to solve that, you have to do the cross multiply. So that means you have to multiply this with that, that's with that. So that gives you 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3 times 5 is 15x equal 3 times 5 is 15 minus 3x, right? So add both sides by 3x in order to solve this equation. So let's do that. This 3x cancel out, so that gives you 10 plus 15 plus 3 is 18x equal to 15, right? Now subtract both sides by 10. Subtract both sides by 10, so that gives you 18x equal to 5, divided both sides by 18. So 18 cancel out, so that gives you x equal to 5 over 18. So that is the final answer. Problem number 10, if 8 to the power y plus 4 equal to 512, then what is the value of y? So in order to solve this problem, the exponent problem, you just need to know the formula is a to the power x equal to a to the power n, then x equal to n. So the second term, you need to write this in terms of 8. So how you could do that? Okay, so let's see how we could do it. So you need to split this 512 and make in terms of 8. So you could do 8 times 8 times 8, so that gives you 64 times 8 gives you 512. So if you rewrite it, so 8 to the power y plus 4 equal to 8 to the power third power. So now if you compare with that, this is the base and this is the exponent, right? If the base are the same, so these base are the same, then you could write y plus 4 equal to 3 and subtract both sides by 4, so that gives you y equal to negative 1. So that is the final answer. The next problem is problem number 11. So the coordinate of point A is this and point B is 5, 7. What is the length of AB? So say let's draw this one. So if this is the point A and B, if you say if it is x1 y1 and x2 y2, right? So then what you have to do, you have to find the distance, and then you have to use the formula. Is called x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 square and the whole square root. So now plug the value in here. You could write this one is x1 y1 x2 y2. So you just plug the value, that gives you x1 is 1 minus 5 square plus 3 minus 7 squared. So if you do that, that gives you negative 4 square, right, plus negative 4 square, right? So that gives you square root over 32. So and if you simplify that, that gives you 4 square root over 2. So let me just break it down. So if you have a square root over 32, you could make it simple. So you could split into two parts. So that gives you 16 times 2, right? So if you square root over 16 means 4, and you keep this square root separate. So that is that. So that's how you get the answer. Problem number 12, solve for the following equation. So this is a absolute value type of problem. If you want to solve that, you have to do two cases, one for positive, another for the negative. So let's set it up for two different parts. So let's do first the positive, 3y plus 2 that equal to 5 1, and then will be another is negative case. So negative 3y plus 2 equal to 5. So if you do that, so add subtract both sides by 2, so cancel. So that gives you negative 3y equal to 3, and then y equal to negative 1, right? And if you do for the negative, so that gives you negative times negative is positive, 3y minus 2 equal to 5, add both sides by 2, so that gives you 3y equal to 7, divided both sides by 3, so that gives you y equal to 7 over 3. So this is the answer option, negative 1 and 7 over 3. So if you want to practice more, download this application from App Store or Google Play, as I mentioned at the beginning. So it has all this practice problem, a lot of practice problem. 95% of people who takes the AFOQT struggle in the math section, and we have plenty of math problem that could help you to prepare for the test. We have also a prediction test in the application, so that kind of tells you if you're ready to take the actual test or not.